All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Andrea, and I'm the Director for Safe Abortion at Population Services International, a global organization working in sexual and reproductive health. I've been passionately pro-choice for as long as I can remember, and I've had the fortunate privilege to work on safe abortion for the last decade. So you would think that I've always been vocal about my views on abortion, and I have been to my friends and my colleagues, but not so much with my family. I'm from Cheyenne, Wyoming, and I grew up in a very conservative family. They've always known about my views on abortion and about my work. I've never hidden it from them. But abortion was a topic that we politely ignored so as not to upset things. Rather recently, I finally talked to my mother about my work and about how it is so important to me. I had just landed my current role at PSI, and I was really excited about it. And I wanted her to be excited for me. So it wasn't easy to bring it up, but one night it was just the two of us at dinner, and we were sitting in the restaurant, and I decided it was time to talk about it. I wanted my mother to know how important this work was to me, and so we talked about it. I was nervous that maybe it would upset her, or that maybe she wouldn't want to talk about it at all. But when we did finally talk, she had the most amazing response. She said that while she doesn't agree with abortion in all instances, she's proud of the work that I do, proud of the work that my organization does, and knows that we are helping women. And just like that, I had come out to my mother about my views on abortion, about my work, and while we still don't agree on everything, we found important common ground, and common ground that I didn't know we had. So why did I wait so long? Stigma. The same stigma that leads to restrictive laws and policies, the same stigma that drives women to unsafe abortion, and it was the same stigma that kept me silent, a professional woman working in public health for so long.
Hi, everyone. I'm Andrea, and I head the consumer-facing digital health initiatives for PSI's social business unit, including our Femtech division, VIA. Today is all about breaking through the silence through storytelling. Now, when I say storytelling, you might immediately think that I'm talking about someone telling their lived experience of having had an abortion. And that is one type of story. But what about the stories of people who had someone close to them die because of an unsafe abortion? Or what about our stories of those of us working in this space who believe in sexual and reproductive health and rights and choice? These are all stories, and they all matter. And no matter what your story, it's always important, it's powerful, but I know that these stories aren't always easy to tell. I'm from Guatemala, where abortion is very restrictive, and even just sexual and reproductive healths writ large are highly stigmatized and taboo. So I understand firsthand how scary it can be to get up here and tell your story, no matter what that story is. But having the courage to stand and speak up and tell your story is important, because it helps to break through this stigma and these taboos that are one of the root causes of the barriers that we have against access to sexual and reproductive health and rights. And that's why we need more stories. There's a lot of information out there and a lot of misinformation out there, but what really changes hearts and changes minds are these stories. That's what's powerful.
So that is why PSI began working with a group of young social media influencers in Lagos, Nigeria, to give them a platform to share their stories. This past summer, we recruited 13 nano influencers. These are social media influencers with a smaller following, a more intimate following. And we work with them to identify, shape, and deliver their stories about why they believe Nigerian women and adolescent girls need better access to safe and legal abortion care. We created a campaign, a website. We posted their videos to their video stories to that website. We added in some myth-busting information, and then they promoted the site to their social media networks. The campaign is called Stop the Judgment. When we began working on this campaign, we didn't know if we would be able to find people willing to tell their stories and willing to publicly advocate for abortion like this. But when we did, we were not just thrilled, we were curious to learn more about these young social media influencers and why they felt compelled to share their stories.
Now, I'd like to introduce you to two of these influencers, Dr. George, a general practitioner, and Alice, a paralegal and podcaster from Lagos, Nigeria. We recorded a conversation with them and are about to share clips from that here. So the first thing we asked them was, why did you participate in this campaign? It's a controversial topic, and they took a very public stance on it. And this is what they had to tell us. Video 1, please.
This particular campaign was very important to me because it's more of a personal decision than just being morally right or wrong. I have seen people lose their life. I've seen women lose their lives to not having the right care, not having the right and proper care for their health. And so this is dear to me. I'm sick and tired of having people suffer, have complications for this. And as a good citizen, as someone who is always called upon to get things right, this is a big deal. And so I had to be part of this particular campaign.
Joining this campaign for me was personal. It was very personal for me. First off, my name is George. I'm a medical doctor, and I work and practice in arguably Africa's biggest country, Nigeria. Our religious and cultural beliefs is very strong, and especially on issues as regards abortion. But I got into medical training, I got into medical practice, and I began to see things for myself. I began to see, most importantly, how that singular decision surrounding termination of pregnancy could either make or mar the life of a woman. I saw women who lost their lives as a result of that decision. I saw women whose lives were saved also as a result of that decision. And all of this shaped my thoughts and opinion. It became very personal for me.
And we also wanted to understand, what do the people around them think about this? Do they think that they are in the minority? And this is what they told us. Video 2, please.
No, I am not the only one making this shout or talking about this particular situation. The only problem is that a lot of people have been silenced based on stigmatization, people not wanting to be part of what you're doing. But I think it's high time we all stand up and talk about this, because I think it's time for abortion care to actually be a medical care in Nigeria, in Africa, basically. So we save lives and make people better.
So I think that there are other people like me. I actually think that there are other people like me, but because of the religious and cultural belief systems in this part of the world, we are scared of speaking up. There's also the part that, as I said earlier, there are so many people speaking on the other side, and so the others that want to speak opposing, if I would put it that way, or on the other side, are afraid to speak up. Their voices are drowned by the louder voices. And that's why organizations like PSI, what you're doing in giving us a platform and giving us a voice, is something that I'm really happy about, and I really would commend. Because when people see that there are people, organizations that are encouraging them to speak up. It gives them that courage to speak up.
And that's our message and our invitation to you to tell your story. The more people who share their own stories about why they feel abortion is healthcare, about why they feel that abortion is integral to reproductive freedom, and why they feel abortion is a human right, the more these ideas will spread. And that's what's going to help stop the judgment. Thank you.